Yeah. Hey, I like that feature. I don't know if you heard that or not. I got a little, this meeting is being recorded
Yeah,
thing.
it didn't say it when I did it. It's like I was hoping to get a double up on it, and I guess it likes you better than me.
Um, so now that we know it's recording both of us, I promise not to edit any of this. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to post. It's so weird. I don't know where to look, but so I'm not going to edit anything. I'm not going to try and take you out of context. I'm not going to do anything shady. I
Yeah,
am,
and sorry to interrupt. I'm doing it on my laptop, so and it's Microsoft Surface, so it doesn't have a fan. It tends to overheat after about an hour, so I don't imagine we'll go over that, but I just thought I'd warn you.
no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta let my dog out. Give me a second.
Yes, I'm surprised mine hasn't visited.
No. I'll try not to make that too frequent, but I am gonna have to let her back in at some point. So yeah.
That is all good,
All
sir.
right. Are we on a time difference?
1 hour, yes. But
Okay.
Arizona doesn't do daylight savings, right? So I think you're an hour ahead. So
It
in the
so it's
spring,
only
we'll
7:30.
yes. But this works. I'm good.
Great. Well, yeah, I was right on time. I was kind of doing a bunch of stuff, but I was like prepared for this mentally more than last time for sure.
I'm in the opposite boat, so I'm going into it. Just yeah, we don't need to get into that. To finish the story before we started recording, this is a green screen.
Yeah,
It was like $15 at Joanne Fabrics,
dude,
and
that's awesome.
and I'm sure you might be bored too. Look at what we're doing.
Yeah, totally.
So
Well, I this is I'm actually one of the reasons I'm really glad to be doing this right now is because this semester I'm taking one class on Jewish history and another class on genocide.
ooh,
So yeah, and Jewish history is just filled with like
they've been screwed a lot.
yeah, persecution. So it's been and I'm like writing some papers right now all day today actually, and it's nice to be able to have some more positive conversation.
Yeah. So can I ask what your ultimate degree is going to be?
Yeah, I'm getting a degree in education to be a secondary education specifically to be either middle school or high school teacher, history and social studies.
Okay. Oh, 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 oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
It
That's
really is,
yeah.
but it's all connected. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that a lot. But anyways, I cut you off. I apologize.
no, that's fine. Education is definitely something that you and I should probably have a conversation at length about.
Now or
No,
at some point. Okay.
no. So, are you willing to just dive into what we were the outline about forms of government?
Yes, I was going to ask how you would like to proceed. Thank you very much for taking the lead on this. I did do a little bit of like kind of preparation, but I would like to follow your lead because I did ask you to do so.
Yeah. So I'm gonna also start off with a question, I guess, because since you did read the materials that I provided and did some more research of your own, and I was just a little confused last time we talked because it almost seemed as though you were advocating for anarchism, which is, in my opinion, a totally valid standpoint. Like, if that's, and I understand you don't want to get bogged down in like ideologies and all that, but that is kind of what we're talking about.
So no, I think there's a way. Are you familiar with first principles thinking? So we can take an ideology and we can then begin to deconstruct it into the subcomponents that create its entity or its overall picture, right? So I'm trying to think. Okay, so actually, can I just share my screen maybe, and I'll just kind of.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's why I'm glad we're doing Zoom, because we can
Um. So yes, you
share
did.
resources and all that stuff.
You did. Okay, let's see. I'm trying. What can we see? Okay. Can you see my screen? Or
No.
okay. Oh, well, so I have Zoom up. So I'm going to actually probably need to close that. How about now?
Nope, not seeing it.
Gosh dang it.
Are you using the share screen function?
Oh, okay. There we go. My apologies. See, this is why we're doing all this. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
This is the document that you provided.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I just wanted to point two things out super quick that I found interesting. I agree with most all of it. Your brother made it a point to call me out for the fascism, saying left wing fascist, and there is there's an argument on whether or not fascism is solely left wing or right wing. And he referenced Wikipedia. So I would like to display the definition from Merriam Webster, which at no point within this does it emphasize that fascism is a far right.
Okay.
I hold on, I'm not done. I thought it was also really interesting that you made it a point to say that it is far right here, but you left out the fact that communism is far left. I think that's intellectually inconsistent, and I think it's you trying to omit information to make your point look stronger. I will, for the sake of this argument, there's not even an argument, discussion, concede that fascism is far right if you would concede that communism is far left.
Yes, I'll concede that all day.
Okay.
However, I feel like some sort of dishonesty going on here. I told you that those are all definitions from the OED. I don't have time to bring up them one at a time. That's why I did. I said in the email, I said these are definitions from the OED. So
What's the OED?
the Oxford English Dictionary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
not Merriam-Webster, but it's just as reliable, I would say.
Well, if not for the sake of showing people how easy it can be to get bogged down in semantics, we're both
Yeah.
and we're both wrong, or whatever. I'm gonna, anyways. One more point would be, we could add a technocracy onto this list, which I think is relevant because Andrew Yang was impugned as a technocrat, which I don't think is entirely inaccurate. However, I do think it is unfair to lob that at him as a pejorative. Here's a quick glance at the definition of technocracy. We can just go back to.
I gotta go get my dog. I swear this will be the only time.
That's cool. You good? I'm gonna probably stop sharing. Or well, I can.
Insect. Okay, so yeah, no, and this is why this really is why I wanted this to be one of our first frames of conversation, because people have these conversations about politics and use all these words, but don't necessarily have the same definitions.
It's almost as if that's by design.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, extremely vague. Yeah, political definitions are extremely vague by nature. So yeah. But the technocrat thing. That's why I'm glad I started this as the frame of conversation, because you're bringing something new and totally valid, which is why we're here. This is exactly what I wanted. So technocracy is actually something that I would say is almost being more embraced by Democrats. And I'm going to say Democrats and not the left, because I consider myself part of the left, but I'm not a diehard Democrat.
How
Yeah.
can you because how do you distinguish the difference between Democrats and the left?
I consider Democrats to represent the corporate establishment of the left, and I think,
Dude, we agree.
yeah, exactly. No, but I think there's the left is like huge, like you said, it's incredibly nebulous. Like Democrats are technically on the left, but I have very little in common with a lot of Democrats in power, even though I consider myself on the left. It's just me being honest with myself and saying that, like, okay, I'm going to understand that American tribalism is a thing and pick a side, but understand that that side doesn't define me.
There is an expression from the philosopher Kierkegaard that says,
I love Kierkegaard. Sorry.
So you probably know what I'm about to say, right?
I don't think so. I haven't read him in probably like 10 years, honestly.
If you name me, you negate me. So as soon as you put a label on something, you begin defining what something cannot be.
Yeah.
Why I'm very hesitant to prescribe any specific label to my belief systems. I will always or often say I lean this direction or that direction on a specific issue. And a lot of my opinions are informed by that first principles analysis of the world around me. So it's not always an emotional or contextual thing. Sometimes, very much like what you would expect a judge to do, is I try to be impartial and look at all the variables of something without a bias of a label, but with truly just what is the fundamental essence of what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So to kind of bring it back around to a point of agreement that I was kind of just thinking about is like, you can have authoritarianism on either end of this political spectrum. Yeah.
Well, so I made a graphic, and can I share my screen again? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Are you wearing tinfoil on your head?
Yes, I am.
Are you is that a jab at me?
It's a jab at anyone who wants to immediately discredit people as conspiracy theorists without giving them an honest listen.
So this is just a side note. Get ready to share your screen and I'll look at it. I literally just last semester took a class that was called American Political Conspiracy. And I learned a lot about the legitimacy of criminal conspiracy. Like, it basically, if you can prove a conspiracy happened in a court of law, that is actually the only like justification or legitimization of any conspiracy ever. If it doesn't get proven in a court of law, then it's technically just a conspiracy theory, which I think is bullshit, but yeah.
As time moves on, I think we will agree on so much more. Thank you for sharing that.
It was a great class. It was a good class.
So on your notes form, you listed topics for further discussion.
I can't see your screen. Are you trying to share?
So yes, now I'm sharing.
There we go. Okay.
So I made this cool little graphic.
Oh, that's great.
It kind of is. It's self-explanatory if you have a general idea of these concepts. Um, and this, I think, is where you and I will focus a lot of our conversation around what level of introduction do we allow daddy state into our lives as free individuals who just want to exchange goods and have a decent quality of life. So I,
So, but can I interrupt you real quick?
yes.
I like how capitalism is off on a bubble by itself, off to the side. But what I would, just because I'm the history guy, you'll find that out more and more. I just want to relate everything to history. But since you have all these clusters here and then capitalism over here by itself, it would make sense if over here by itself you had a bubble that was feudalism, because feudalism
Ooh,
was the global system of control before everything that you put in there. So yeah,
dude, you're setting me up, homie. You're setting me up because
yeah.
I think our current system today is known as feudalism 2.0. That's what we're living in.
Dude, I don't disagree. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
100%.
Like
But
it's just like the same system but with better technology.
that's literally it. Like, I actually want to
Cheers.
share this article with you.
Okay, I'll stop sharing my
I'm
screen.
gonna have to find it later.
Oh,
But there's an article that goes into very serious detail about how capitalists, the original capitalists, were like,
pirates.
well, no, they were like, how do we take all of these serfs, these peasants, and make them into a working class? And that's what they did. Like, they were like, we're going to pay them as little as possible, shove them into these urban centers, and make them work in factories. And like, that's the very simplistic version of this article, but I think you would really like it.
What year? Years do you remember? Or specifically, because if you've heard of Buckminster Fuller, he was um, he was a lot of things, but just he talks about how the great pirates who operated under the uh, pretty much protection of limited liability corporations granted to them by the kings, queens, by the dukes, by the ruling class, um, the royal families. And so, what these great pirates would do is they would go and pretty much just do what Vikings do, rob and pillage, and there would be some exchange, some free exchange, and um, some sort of outreach. But in general, that's how like America and that's how imperialism was pushed in the like 1600s to like 1700s, and slavery was obviously perpetuated by slave ships, so pirates. um, and then this actually brings us to a perfect rabbit hole of who's funding the royalty and who's funding the feudalism 2.0, the central banks, the people with the money, or well, with the money, right? What is money? Do you have an opinion on what money is?
I mean, we have a fiat currency. I mean, that's what we currently have. I plan on getting my economics certificate as well, so I can teach high school kids economics, because it does kind of go hand in hand with American government and all that stuff. It's just a little more math based, obviously, but it's not a like inconceivable goal for any history teacher to become an economics teacher. And I hope to learn more. But as of right now, all I really know about like banking is that, or like central bank specifically, is that the Federal Reserve is not actually a national bank; it's a corporation. So we don't have a national bank, and I don't understand. That's why I think comparing us to other nations, like that's literally just one reason why trying to compare our economy to others is incredibly complex.
They have central banks too.
No, but they're not corporatized.
Yes, they are.
Not that I do. I'm pretty sure the Bank of
Why do you think we
Switzerland.
went to Iraq in like the 2000 era? Look at the timeline of when Iraq had joined the central banking, the IMF, and when we invaded. I think it was in the not the 1991, but the one after that. You can
Okay.
do it
Well, I'm
now.
not really going to argue with you about something I don't really know about. Like I
Yeah.
said,
So
yeah.
this actually leads me to a question then. I'm just going to come out and ask directly. Would you identify as a communist?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Whew, whew. Now,
So,
how can I
can
trust you?
I?
Because I wouldn't trust the communist.
Okay. Oh,
Would
well, I mean, like if there's a label that I want to ascribe to, it's a market socialist, which is kind of like a social democrat, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Market socialism is what I want.
so how is market socialism like so and this is where the weeds get thick and where people get lost. The average person and I don't oh fuck. I consider myself an average person, and so anytime I talk like about this stuff, I don't have I think I'm an average person. So when I say
Can I
that
ask you a quick question? Do you have a degree in finance?
I do.
Okay, sorry, just asking.
I also have a master's degree in business administration. Um,
Okay.
and a whole lot of student loan debt and no job.
I was under the impression that you had a degree in finance from Western, but I didn't know you had your MBA. That's a whole other level of achievement.
The homeless hippie vibe really confuses people. Um,
I mean,
so shoot,
not really. If you were born in 1988, not really.
yeah. Look at us millennials bitching. I had a question. I forgot. This is no okay. So this is where people, the average person, gets lost in the weeds in that and this is actually really directed to like I like to poop on sort of the ideology of intersectionality. Um, and so you can create a name for anything, and so in that world, and then you don't even have to be able to define that thing very well. You just have to be able to prescribe a value or emotion to it, and then all of a sudden that word develops power. And so there are so many arbitrary words that people are flinging around that are complicating conversations. For example, a market socialist, a democratic socialist, a communist, an anarcho communist, which isn't a thing. So, what is a market socialist? Please enlighten me.
Oh, it's basically a um uh it's the idea of a transition into a more socialized system of what we already have. It doesn't call for like the revolution, the communist revolution, or anything like that. It is like social democracy in that the idea is that public policy that benefits the greater good gets passed democratically. Um, and that's basically it. Like I don't want to eliminate markets entirely. Like I feel like there are places where markets are good, um, but I do feel like decommodifying some industries and making them socialized uh, would really benefit the American people, and we could do it like the money is not an issue. So yeah.
I more or less kind of agree. More or less on the money is not an issue thing, but I need to go back because you said so many things I need to ask more questions on. Okay. Transition to more socialized programs. Can you give me an example of a socialized program? Like man, I almost wish I didn't want to interrupt you, but I should have because
Okay, so here's one, and that you might push back on me because I don't know if we agree on education. I think public universities should actually be public. I think there should be a public university system in the United States, just like public K through 12. It should be uh,
Do you
funded by taxpayers.
do you take the Kamala Harris approach, and would you put parents in prison if they did not enroll their children?
I don't uh yeah, I don't believe I don't like the criminalization of anything. I think
Okay.
anything.
Okay. We agree on that. We agree on that.
So yeah, no. I don't agree
So
with
you don't have to
what,
attend these
I'm sorry,
universities.
what did she say?
She wanted to put parents who allowed their children to be truant in prison. It was like a fear deterrent, but like
Okay.
what a fucking
Man.
c-wordy move.
Um
But that's the Democratic Party. That is the
No.
Democratic ruling establishment elite crap that they pull.
yeah, I mean, there's something like
So okay, I remember. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
there's something like 215 Democrats in the House of Representatives and like 50 Democrats in the Senate. Or no, yeah, something like that. I mean, yeah, it's definitely the ruling party, but like I think this is a point that we can agree upon, that it's literally like every 4 to 8 years, it just goes back and forth, back and forth. You haven't had you haven't had consecutive party rule since I think Roosevelt, when they had to enact term limits.
I'm gonna say something privileged, so trigger warning. Both sides are corrupt. They are two heads of one beast.
Yeah, totally. But this gets back to
Both sides of the man. Jesus, man. It's sorry.
So what I asked you this question last time, and I'm kind of curious, like you just don't vote on anything because the system's so fucked?
Can I go full conspiracy realist for a second?
Yeah.
I say conspiracy realist because I feel as time moves on, more and more things that I fear are going to come true. I actually, let me ask you, are you religious at all? Or do you identify as an atheist or, okay.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
I identify as a theological non-cognitivist.
I'm not familiar with that. Can you give me like
That is the basic conception that even if humans aren't really capable of understanding a concept like God, is basically the gist of
that's
that.
very Tao. That's very Tao. That's like almost what the Zen people would say. So okay, I don't know what to say, and we'll talk about it later, but it's irrelevant. I see Christian people saying that revelations are coming. Are you familiar with revelations at all? Even though you're not a Christian, it's the end of days.
Okay, yeah, I just need
Satan's going to rule the earth for so many years, and the people who have been saved are going to go to heaven, and it's crazy stuff. I really like the New Age hippie movement. It's not New Age anymore because it started like in the 60s, but it's like experiencing a revival, and I fucking love it. You like psychedelics, I think. So the New Age movement has a very similar story, except it's the version I like and that I'm inclined to grab onto is the awakening or the lifting of the veil. And so I experience religiosity within me in ways that I cannot explain in words on command. But if you were to allow me to continue to talk, I might be able to share a little bit of that. That being said, I think the awakening is happening. I think the Christians know something. They're right, but I think they've been woefully misdirected. And so it will be a revelation for them, but not the one they were expecting. And it's chaos is in our future. I do not discuss these ideas with the idea that there is hope for this country as it stands in its current form. Everything in the world, everything in the universe cycles, death and rebirth. America needs to die. Something new and beautiful is needing is about it, it is going to emerge. It's the butterfly metaphor, the pressure of the cocoon. You got to break free of it. And so a lot of people from all directions are experiencing this, and based on their ideological beliefs they are projecting out into the world, but they're projecting their traumas. There are not very many actualized people in this world, and so I believe we need to save humanity in the form of removing the oppression of their consciousness, the lifting of the veil. I seek to contribute to the awakening, which is not going to happen in this country in this form. There's major shit ahead of us. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Where are you seeing the people, or like this? Did you said that people are experiencing this? Where are you seeing that?
When I say people are experiencing this, I think this pandemic has given a lot of people time to sit with themselves, and they're okay, so this pandemic is giving people a lot of time to sit with themselves. And part of the new age hippie movement, there is talk of the new earth. I believe that that people are getting to choose which earth they get to participate in as the future unfolds. If you have been sitting with yourself or looking for ways to distract yourself to avoid the growth that is necessary for the evolution of our collective consciousness, you're not going to the new earth. You are going to stay in this earth. That is the revelation that Christians are going to experience. They're not going to be saved. They're not going to understand what's going on. There are going to be two distinct realities that are
Sorry, it sounds
occupying.
like you're talking about an afterlife.
There are two distinct realities that are going to exist in the simultaneous space of this earth. It is not an afterlife. It is your life.
Okay. I I I'd be interested to see where, when, and how that happens.
You're living it, brother.
So basically there's people who see reality for what it is, and there's people who don't.
What is your metaphysical basis for reality?
I don't have an answer for that question. You answered my question with a question.
Because different people possess different metaphysical bases for reality. So we need to first get on the same page for what the structure of reality is.
So is there a right conception of reality? A correct conception of reality?
I think
Or are we all just on our 7 billion different realities?
yeah, most people, not every individual, because I don't think every individual has a soul. I think that there are subjective realities that exist within a bigger objective reality.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds like common sense to me. But we're getting pretty deep here, and I'm empty.
Okay.
Let's dial it back. Do you like, honestly, I feel like I need to be a little more prepared for a philosophical conversation like that.
we can go back to the forms of government. I apologize because
No, well,
I have a question about that, like a serious question that connects
okay.
to this. Do you believe individuals should possess property rights?
See, that is a very philosophical question. Let me make a drink.
I think this. I promise not to edit the video, but if I do post this, this has been a really good conversation so far. I feel like, so fuck, I don't know any jokes either. And the ones I do know, I want to save because I might actually want to try and stand up because I like to torture myself for some reason. Well, I know the reasons. I'm going to therapy. You should go to therapy, actually. That's part of the awakening, though. That is directly connected to the awakening. If you're avoiding your trauma, oh, okay.
I was making a drink.
So I promised not to edit the video, and I was like, shoot, but this is so good. If it turns out, I'd like to post it.
That was only like a minute, maybe.
I was just talking, just rambling,
No, I get it.
entertaining the crowd.
People are gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck? We have to sit and wait for this guy to make a drink." Yeah, I get it. Can I answer your question?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, yeah, ultimately, when it comes down to it, you can talk about the differences between personal property, private property, intellectual property. But when it comes down to it, yes, I think there are certain property rights that humans have. When it comes down to the regulation of those is where, arguments start.
Yes. And so that's why I'm really glad I asked if you're a communist. You said no, because, communism does not believe in property rights. And so we're good. I don't have anything. I have like nothing that could be stolen. So not that it matters, but okay. So yes, you believe in property rights, but as soon as that line, and that's the line of the government, that's where then the government gets introduced into the world. So in a world before government, before a social hierarchy, before anything, but in a non-violent world, let's assume that you have something I want and I have something you want, we trade. I obtained that thing through my ingenuity, through my physical prowess, through my luck of being able to attract a wealthy mate. Sugar mamas, if you're out there, I know I look crazy now, but I clean up really nicely. That was a little advertisement for myself. And so, oh man, I've got this like thing I've been wanting. I'm going to save it. I apologize. I'll save it for another day.
Why?
Well, so it's very crass. And I don't know, maybe, okay.
Dude, I've been studying genocide all day.
Okay, so how does, okay, here's a question. It's a legitimate question, but it's going to be gross. But it's going to be gross. It's demonstrative. How does communism handle sex work? Because if you do not have property rights, you do not own the right to your body. And how do you exchange goods? Where do you obtain goods to exchange for sex? And let's be real here. There is no world where sex work is not going to be a thing, not in any time in the near future.
I don't think communism, actually, I'm pretty sure communism allows for bodily autonomy, and that's what I was going to talk about. Is do you consider bodily autonomy a property right? Which I don't. I consider it to be something entirely different.
Ooh, what could it be? Like what
Uh, oh, it's a human right.
okay, okay. And see, this is a good thing because this is a difficult conversation as well. Who defines what a human right is?
I guess the state.
You guess?
I mean,
You guess?
once again, you're asking me some pretty heavy loaded questions. So yeah, I'd have to actually think about this. So who grants humans their human rights? I guess Jeebus? God, I don't know, man. Like that's the thing. It's like they're inherent.
Ooh,
So
from where?
so they should be inherent across systems,
Should, but
whether it's
why?
capitalism,
Should,
communism, or feudalism.
but
But feudalism negates that.
who enforces should?
Uh, what?
Who enforces should?
In what sense?
If somebody violates your bodily autonomy, even though they shouldn't, who enforces that?
Enforces the punishment on somebody violating your
Yes.
bodily autonomy?
Or who protects your bodily autonomy? And who,
I think I'm sorry, but I think in the case of females, you actually need the state in certain situations to help you protect your bodily autonomy.
so what if somebody doesn't think that bodily autonomy should, and this is very connected to the pro-choice argument, right? Right?
Yeah, I
So
feel like
so
that's all we're
what if
talking about.
so you think they should be, but other people don't. So how do we as a society navigate that divide?
Uh, through legislation.
And what if people continue to resist?
Well, I mean, the anti-abortion crowd exists in troves. So
I do not
that
disagree with that statement.
you don't think there's a giant
No, no,
anti-abortion
no. I said I do
in
not
America?
disagree with that. I agree with you. I was
Oh.
I was saying it in the inverse.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, playing the other side. I get it, but like
I
I get
agree that there are anti-abortion lobbies, and I
no.
agree that I would even say that I think the pro-choice side is making ground in 2020. I think they're making ground. I think they're actually reversing progress that has been made. I could be wrong, and that's something I would happily love to be wrong about.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to actually understand what you just said. So
Let
you
me
think?
word it differently.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the people who are pushing pro-life have been successful in making it harder for women to obtain access to abortions and contraceptives. I think they're making progress, which is a very unfortunate thought on my end.
I agree 100%. And I just, the way you worded it the first time, I was a little confused. That's all.
I apologize.
Yeah. So once again, um, I love that like you are pushing me to like define what human rights are and where they come from and all that. But like once again, I feel like I need to be a little more prepared for this. I don't know. I sound like a pussy.
I don't know what to say. Like, I don't think you're a pussy.
Well, that's good.
uh, um, though I do very much believe in this is I will I I'll give you a concession or some a chink in my armor. Um, I really, really, really like the idea of a universal basic income. However, I believe taxation requires the threat of the initiation of force, which governments create a monopoly on. So I don't know how to create a world that has a UBI and a voluntary tax structure.
So I'm sorry, but it sounds like you like want communism, but you hate
No, 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 no. UBI is not communism.
Okay. Okay.
Like, not at all. UBI is freedom. You can do
Okay.
whatever the fuck you want. In communism, you do whatever the Gestapo, or not the Gestapo, excuse me.
Okay.
You
Okay.
do whatever
So
your
I'm sorry.
comrade tells you.
Let me. I'll retract that. That was a stupid thing to say. I
So
feel like UBI and like anybody who actually promotes it and knows anything, like you probably know more. Once again, I feel like an idiot when I bring up like economic things and I realize that you have a fucking MBA. But anyways,
well, so but
anybody who
here's
knows
the thing.
anything about UBI should know that you need a progressive tax policy to make it happen.
No, you
Don't you
don't.
don't?
No.
How do you make it happen then?
You stop funding the fucking military industrial complex.
Calm down.
That was for them, not you.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that's literally just tax money being reverted. Like, yes, I get it.
What is money?
So that's a progressive tax policy
How?
by defunding the military industrial complex and funding social programs. That is a progressive tax policy. Period.
I agree with that statement, and I still am uncertain with how to proceed because that doesn't address the deeper issue that taxation is it is one of the slipperiest of slopes that a civilization or society can begin to enforce.
Okay.
Nature has a wonderful way of seeking balance when uninhibited. However, we're not fully animals anymore. We are evolving. So we do need to have some level of civilization and society. And as I have already displayed to you that I believe there is a new society that will emerge. We are currently living in the second dark ages. You mentioned feudalism 2.0. We're there. There is a second renaissance, a new renaissance on the horizon. And these are the conversations and these are the questions that are going to propel us there. And these are the problems that we need to solve before we get there. So this doesn't happen again, or so it's going to happen again. But just always learn from your mistakes and do better. If you believe in reincarnation, then you're investing in future lives, brothers and sisters.
So ultimately, this is why I want to talk about forms of government is because, and that's why I brought up made that stupid communism comment is because you're bringing up things like power and nature. Like in nature, you see communes all the time. Like, but once again, we're not fucking birds or fish, or we're a little more complex.
Some of us are chimps and some of
So
us are bonobos.
yeah, well, bonobos are way cooler. They
And
fuck.
and
God damn it! I cursed. I can't use it now. Anyways,
you cursed.
I cursed.
Were we not supposed to curse?
I'm trying to make this suitable for like my students, my future students to watch.
God.
No, it's fine. I'm glad that you're gonna post it because I'm gonna remember to be cleaner in the future, not be smoking and drinking and cursing the whole time. But we can still have a good conversation. Yeah, so I was talking about power and all that, and it's like this is why I was bringing this up because every time we like start breaking things down, it's almost like you do want no government. You're like, dude, there just shouldn't be any like you haven't really said that, but a lot of the things I feel like you're saying are implying it. I mean, maybe that's just me misreading.
No, 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 no. You are entirely accurate. You're 100% accurate. I am flirting with anarchism. And there is a big, big, big reason that my logo is the symbol that it is. Are you familiar with that logo?
I can look at it. No, not really though.
The yin and the yang symbol. I cannot pronounce the Eastern. There's different like Buddhism, Zen, Taoism, there's like just overlap and difference. And so I don't like Zen is kind of like the idea of all of them. So, anyways, if you'll notice that let me figure out how to word this. There is an ideal that you can strive for in life. Everything can be idealized. The ideal of freedom is so paramount that we must do everything we can to retain as much as we can. In the yin and the yang symbol, you're never fully in a yin or a yang state. You're never fully idealized in one position or another. You are constantly embracing the paradoxical nature of reality. Our current government, our current social constructs, our current culture is corrupted to the core. We are so far removed from any semblance of freedom that I need to talk so highly of it. And I need it to be the focus of our future. Because if we allow tyranny to continue, this lifetime is fucked. And it might already be, but I believe in reincarnation. And so if this lifetime never gets any better for me, but I continue to fight for what I believe in, I'm confident in the next life or in a future life. I might have many lives of work to do. But at the end of the day, standing up for one of my most fundamental beliefs is what I am doing. And because we are so far removed from that semblance of freedom, I don't think there's any point in trying to equivocate over the little differences in this law or that law or this institution or that institution. They're all so broken that it needs to be redone. I'm sorry, I'm done.
I have a question.
Answer.
You talk about losing freedoms, and I feel incredibly free. What freedoms would you like back?
End the fucking war on drugs, you idiot.
Hey,
Hey, there are people in prison right now for smoking pot, and you're asking me what freedoms I want back?
yeah, why are you getting so excited?
Because you're being a fucking moron. You're asking the dumbest question possible.
Okay, other than the freedom of or drug decriminalization, what freedom would you like back? That's a good one. I would like that freedom back too. Uh, I don't think we've ever had it in America.
you really feel free?
Yeah, I
You
do
can't
whatever
even
the hell I want.
must be a pretty privileged life you live there, white boy. Because I can't do whatever the hell I want.
What can't you do other than
I don't want to say because it's against the law. And I'm on camera.
we have freedom of speech? You're not like really? That's a pretty big cop out.
All right. I think it's been an hour and I would like to either move on or end the conversation.
No, I don't think that's very fair. That I mean, I agree with you. That is
You agree with
definitely.
me on a lot.
I really would like to understand why you feel so unfree.
Right now. Right now.
I guess we can have
No,
this
listen to
conversation
me.
later.
Listen to me. Does it not bug you? Does it not eat at your soul that people are in jail for the most innocuous crime that can be committed? That Kamala Harris put them there? That Joe Biden put them there?
Richard Nixon literally started the war on drugs.
At what point did I say I like Richard Nixon?
You're the one bringing up politicians.
I'm bringing up our president elect and vice president elect.
Yeah,
who
they're
have
politicians.
perpetuated the war on drugs. That doesn't seem to bother you. That doesn't seem to keep you awake at night. I don't generally try to go to the guilt route because that's what the intersectionalists do, but you're being so dense that I have to.
So do you feel like black people are being disproportionately charged with those crimes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least we can agree there. I have a problem with the war on drugs. Like you're kind of straw manning me here.
I'm not. You're just being so dense that I cannot fathom what is
No.
going through your brain right now.
I'm trying to cover one point at a time, and you're trying to dwell on one point when I ask you, what other freedoms are you being deprived of in America other than decriminalized drug use?
Speed limit. Sex work.
All right, I'm going to let my dog in. Come on. Really, like the issue here is I don't understand why you're getting so upset. And you said I'm being dense and stupid and all that. But I just asked you a question and then asked you to elaborate.
If I want to start a business, I have to pay a bunch of money. If I want to own a gun, I'm very restricted in that sense. Some people can't get abortions in this country. Nobody can take psychedelics. I can't ride a motorcycle without a helmet. I can't end my life if I get a cancer diagnosis and I want to.
So you live in the state of Washington. All of those things you just brought up. In my state, in the state of Arizona, once you turn 18, you can literally bypass the gun loophole and buy a gun from your friend. So these are state by state issues for sure.
And that's why I'm against the federal. Oh, sorry.
Which is why I feel like, which I think is something we should acknowledge. The abortion thing, especially state by state. That is what we were talking about earlier, how the pro-life movement is gaining ground in certain states by passing laws that I think offend women's bodily autonomy. And see, this thing,
let me ask you a question.
Talk about these. I didn't want you to get upset with me. I want to talk about the freedoms that are being denied to us too.
Let's talk about them. Let's pick one and talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well, not the war on drugs, because I'm pretty sure we agree there. And also, state by state, my state just legalized marijuana. Oregon just legalized everything. So, like, this really is a conversation that we shouldn't be so upset about, because it is such a state by state thing. And yes, if you want to talk about how bad the federal government is and all that, then yes, we can have that conversation.
I consider
the guns thing, I guess, is another one that we could have. And guns is literally that's the one that the right loves to bring up, is their Second Amendment rights. And I'm all about it, but there's nothing in the Second Amendment that doesn't say firearms can't be regulated. Like, just read it and it says regulated. So yeah.
I don't fucking care about the Constitution. I don't care about the Constitution.
Oh yeah. Once again, man. So do you really want? You talk about cultural, spiritual revolution. Do you actually want a political revolution where we get a new government?
We're getting one. It's not what I want. It's what's happening.
How?
My friend, how long do you think you're going to live? Have you ever asked yourself that?
Oh, I have a neurodegenerative disorder that just killed my dad at the age of 54. So I might make it that far.
I really regret asking that question.
Yeah, just so you know, when you get, my dad died like 2 months ago. So I really, really am in this for positive stuff.
Hey, man, I'm really, really sorry.
It's also why I drink literally constantly all day. But I'm sorry.
Man, no,
this isn't about me.
No, we shouldn't gloss over the drinking comment, but this is not the place. I asked that I'm sorry because, you know, if
probably not going to make it as far as you, to be honest. So what? No, dude, I would love to see the fall of the American Empire. I've told my brother about this many, many times. That is what I would love to see, but I don't think I'm going to live to see it. And yes, we're an empire.
I don't want to give a fake sense of false hope, but modern medicine is advancing really quickly. Shit, man. I think I'm going to live through it. Like, as you want to see it, I don't, but I have dreams of it, dude. Like, it's coming, and it's not what I want.
Oh,
like people, this word "want," it's the wrong word.
You have wants, don't you? I mean, you're human. We all have wants.
I desire to desire less.
Dude, totally. That's an admirable trait.
That's Zen, my friend.
Yeah.
Shit.
You miss it.
I'm sorry. What did I miss?
Here. Oh, no. Oh.
Oh, what up, kitty? What's your cat's name?
This is Boots, because she's got boots.
Okay, I can like the knee, like the really sexy kind that ladies wear, right?
Boots.
Yep.
And the other one is Puss.
Okay, Puss in Boots. They're asleep, buttheads.
No, I saw a tail wagging earlier.
Uh, I I would really like to take this moment to say just like a few things really quickly. I got really heated about the cannabis thing because that is something I'm extremely passionate about. That is something that I should not have guilt tripped you on,
Let,
and I'm
let me
sorry.
interject real quick. I just voted on a law to legalize it in my fucking state. Okay.
Your actions to make a better world don't negate the fact that the world still needs a lot of work. But thank you for voting and doing that. I identify as a hippie. I'm half meathead, half hippie. I have it's I'm going through some shit too, but I don't want to I don't want to take away from your thing, but it has prevented me from accessing the loving spirit inside of me. I have been just stressed and angry, and so I came to this wanting really to challenge myself to not be an asshole and to be uh, to have fuck dude, I have a lot of love in my heart, and that's why I'm so passionate, because there's just not a lot of love in the world right now. Like, it's there but it's hiding. People are like
So one of the
holding it
reasons
in.
I'm becoming a teacher is because I care so much. You talk about this caring. It's literally just because I care so much. And honestly, I the world needs teachers like you and me. People who have differing opinions, but can sit down and have an hour-long conversation with somebody that they disagree with on multiple points. Uh,
If any community colleges see this and want to hire me, I would love to be a community college teacher.
dude, you should definitely, dude. I'm
But
not going to
but
dox
hold on,
you,
they're not
but
going to hire me because I'm crazy.
I'm not going to dox you, but I went to the community college where you live, and I had some really good adjunct professors, or where I
Skagit
think.
Valley? Oh, I docked myself. Fuck. Oh well.
Anyways, never mind.
Yeah.
I think you would make a great adjunct professor, honestly. Yeah.
I am
Oh, and
so. Oh, sorry. Go on.
all no, also like I can't believe I got so personal and made it all. I feel like I made it all about me, and I actually want to know what you're going through too. But I totally understand if you don't want to share it in this format or with me at all. But I'm actually curious because I kind of overshare, uh, but I also care about the people that I am involved with.
Um. Let's
You
see.
don't have to.
Well, so I want to be honest because it's a traumatic experience, but it was short. So it's kind of like, you had to deal with it, but only for a month. I was living in a van for a month this year. I didn't have a place to live. And even right now, my current living situation is not great. So I don't feel comfortable at home. And that is a very heavy thing to just live with.
Have you ever been homeless before?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So once again, not to make it all about me, but just a comparison is like when I was like 20. Yeah, when I was 20, I dropped out of college and literally lived in the back of the skate shop that I worked at in Port Angeles.
Is that North by Northwest?
No, it was Kinetic Board Shop.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I left at like 15 when I was 15. So yeah, I might have been newer.
I didn't know you'd left Port Angeles so early. I thought you went to
Yeah.
high school there.
No. So I went my kind of went my freshman year. I skipped like so much.
Yeah.
No, so there's like maybe we can do another like one of these where we talk maybe about some more personal stuff. I'm like hesitant to share a lot of personal stuff, but at the same time,
Well, we could
I'm
do
not.
that and not post it.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. I see,
Yeah.
but
I'm probably going to post this, even though I swore multiple times and I've been smoking and drinking the whole time. But I'm probably going to remove them when I officially start teaching. I officially start teaching in January.
are you gonna edit my swears? You can edit my swears too. If like
No, I'm not going to edit anything. I'm saying when I become a teacher, I'm just going to take them down because at that point, hopefully, we will have had more of these.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Once again, like you said, they're like trials. I don't really need the first two that we did on there. Like I can just upload the good ones.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out, and then I'll message you to see, like, because if it works, I'd like to keep it on my channel, but I also like don't want to get you in trouble
Oh,
with your job.
and no, that's the other thing is like if that's your intention, that's not a problem. I just can't have it on my channel.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Sorry.
absolutely.
So it's actually been more than an hour. I don't know if you'd like to call it, or if you had another question, or
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me look at something. Do.
oh yeah, I don't even know, like, toggle to see. It says still recording potentially. We'll see.
Yeah.
I paid $198 for this laptop 2 years ago, so I don't think it's the greatest of laptops.
Yeah, I paid like $600 for mine. It's a Microsoft Surface and it's pretty nice. Oh wow, it's not even hot. That's cool. Huh. I thought it would be overheating at this point. It's not. No, there is I feel like we could have a whole conversation about this, but I just want to maybe we can dive into it really quickly and then segue it for next time. Is the technocrat stuff. It's sort of related to that, I guess. And what I was curious about, like, because I think we'll find some disagreement about big tech regulation.
Ah.
Yeah. Should we wait for next time?
As time moves further along, Alex Jones is getting more and more right. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. We'll do this next time.
No, I'm kidding.
Come on. No, once again, yeah. I think that is a topic for next time. Let's call it.
I'm sorry again for lashing out. That's actually, yeah, I'm sorry, man. And I'm sorry for your dad. This might sound weird, man, but I love you. I love you. Thank you.
I love you, and I love that you're so willing to make this happen because of previous interactions that might not have gone as smoothly.
I am a hypocrite, but I'm trying to be less of one.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing is like, how many times can you contradict yourself in a day? And I'm talking about myself.
Oh, I was like, yeah.
No, I'm literally talking about myself. It's like I have so many conflicting thoughts.
So okay, thank you again. We'll be in touch, man. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, I'll probably hit you up via email, just so you know.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Later.